So this one came in through Facebook, and this was from Scott, and he's been pondering this from the other day. He's wondering, what is the history of the kilt pin?
Ah.
The history of the kilt pin.
Ah. Yes. The kilt pin.
Yes.
The kilt pin.
Indeed. Now,
does he mean any kilt pin or the original kilt pin, which has been lost to history?
Yes, the skirt pin.
So they didn't put a rubber band on the back.
Yeah. Now I got to explain that. For those who don't know, if you have a kilt pin, when you stab it through your kilt, take a little chunk of rubber band or an eraser off a pencil or something, and stab that pin through the eraser and then stick it out through the front of the kilt. And if your kilt pin comes undone, just like that, then it won't fall out of the kilt.
If the rotary clasp comes undone.
Yes.
Now, more and more pins now have butterfly clips instead of the pin, so it's not as much of a problem. But
so where did the kilt pin come from, Eric?
Well, the apocryphal story is that it was basically mandated by Queen Victoria because she was reviewing troops once at Balmoral, and the kilt flaps, not necessarily people exposing themselves, but they were just like going fluff while the troops were on parade, and she found it unseemly and unappealing, and therefore she said, put a pin on it, as opposed to put a ring on it. Put a pin on it. I think that's probably urban folklore. We do know that kilts did not necessarily have what we can, the hip straps and stuff originally. And if you look at old photographs, pictorial evidence from the 19th century, you will see that they are wearing pins higher up, like more on the thigh.
Yep.
And I believe that what was happening was they were using these pins to affix the apron higher up in order to keep it from, flopping fully open and just looking stupid. So it was a securing system at that time, and they would go through both layers. This is, my educated guess. I've never seen the inside of somebody wearing a 19th century kilt.
Possibly.
See the
They're
holes.
wearing it up that high, yeah.
We'll have to go to Scotland, do some research on this.
Indeed.
But
to the Batmobile. Let's go.
Wait, we're going that? Oh, it's that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the door.
Dive out. It's obsolete. Doing that is obsolete, and now kilt pins are basically just a wind weight and a decoration. You do not put a kilt pin through both layers of the kilt. You're more likely to damage your kilt if you do that. Now there's a transition phase where you had hip ties, and Matt can tell us about some of the stuff they used. Militarily, they had the big the diaper pin blanket pins, which were used for the same thing of keeping a kilt closed, and sometimes also like keeping the over aprons that they wore closed. I think. No, they didn't really put pins through those, did they?
No.
Okay, so I get functional. They get a blanket pin was not. I don't think it was issued for that purpose. It's just they had blanket pins and they started using them to help keep the kilts closed. I'm looking at Mac like he's not paying any attention.
I can't tell whether he's paying attention, reading answers, or
I'm doing a combination of multiple things.
He's just like, yeah, whatever.
But yes, you were saying about the
blanket pins.
Blanket pins being used. Yeah, I have a giant, big blanket pin that I use for my World War I kilt.
But were they issued with those for the kilts, or were they? I didn't think so.
No.
Okay. Yeah, it was just like, you know what? I need this to be more closed than it is, so I'm going to use this pin.
You're wearing, most times they're wearing kilt covers, which are the cotton wraps that go over top of everything. But they're also being sent back in different times of the year. They're being sent back to be laundered. So they even though you're a Highland troop, you're not always wearing a kilt. Sometimes you're wearing your reissued trousers at different points. So your kilts are being sent back. They're being laundered. They're being repaired. They're coming back to the front. So all that stuff's going to be taken off. So you're going to have pins. You're going to manufacture your own stuff out there sitting around in the trench.
Trench art, yeah.
So it's.
But they did have they did pin them all the way through to help keep the aprons together. Is that correct?
Do you know?
Or were they using?
I wouldn't say for 100% certainty on that, but if the ones I've seen that have been pinned all the way through are ones that don't have straps or buckles.
Okay.
Yeah, it was more functional than than wind
Yeah.
weight, because a diaper pin kind of thing,
Right.
like the 3-inch diaper pin is kind of what we're talking about. Those they don't weigh anything to be able to hold it down. So yeah, it would make sense that it would be
mechanism.
functional. Yeah.
But again, you don't see that the Victorian's gentleman is often it's round. It's not like we traditionally think of as like a long
Sword
kilt
shape.
Yeah, sword shape or whatever. So yeah, it went from being a minor convenience kind of a thing to like, oh, that looks really cool. Let's turn it into a thing.
Yeah.
Basically.
Agreed. And it kind of navigated south over time.
Correct.
Yep.
But there's no real kilt pins prior to the 19th century
Yep.
that I'm aware of. So.
Agreed.
Thank you for watching. How old does something have to be before it becomes an irrefutable part of tradition? Do kilt pins qualify, or is it just something that's made up and silly? I don't think so, but you may have a different opinion. Tell us in the comments. If you want more videos on accessories and how to make your outfit look great, whether it's traditional or not, check these over here. Check these out over here. I'm still up.